Water, yes, the most important thing to life. Guess what's happening right now here in the UK? Already the reservoir levels are dropping. And let me tell you this, I'm out deep into the countryside and all of the local streams have dried up already. There is one spring well very close to where I am, and I'm going to be doing some videos very shortly about the Lifesaver jerry can. That's going to be coming over the next few videos. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully it doesn't dry up. So we're trying to get this message out to as many as possible. Water is very important. Now, what I've said in recent videos is I've managed to sort of collect and not throw away those great big 5 litre water bottles, which you can get really cheap from most supermarkets here around the UK. Once they've used, I've literally shook out as much water as I could, put them all into bin liners and put them out of the way. Now is the time, which I believe, is to fill them up and store them away just in case. There has been so many historical events happened over the years here in the UK when we face severe droughts. This year, I have a feeling that it's going to come back again. Now, this is for any one of you who have the foresight to prepare. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some bare basic, very cheap prepping ideas to help you people to make sure that you don't run out of water, because it could happen to you. Okay, so we're at the back of the property now. I've already opened the gate just to make it easier to film, really. And yes, no joke, we are in the middle of nowhere. Now look at this. This was always full up with water, draining from the mountain and literally coming down across the back. It's completely dried up already. There is a pipe put under there, way down by stones, and all it does is it gives us access to come across the back of the property, and it comes out the other side. But look, nothing, no water. So as you can tell, the water is just coming out deep from the spring, and I've managed to channel some of it along there using some clay. So I'm trying to get as much water as I can, funneling in and going right down. I'll put a tiny little shelf there so I can collect water from there quite easily. And it's already been draining there, and it just literally runs down. Now the rate of flow has really reduced already. We have a borehole up here on the property, and yes, there are incidences where people that we know personally where their well has dried up. Okay, big problem, big unexpected expense. So yes, we're going to be using this on a future video very soon about how I make sure this water is absolutely safe and clean to drink. But for now, we're going to get those bottles filled up. So here we are then. These are the bottles I was talking about, and we've cleared some space, and it's always nice and cold and relatively damp free, especially through the summer months. So it's an excellent place to find some room and to store them bottles just in case we really need it. Obviously, once they've been filled and they're in here, they should stay relatively fine to open and use within 6 months. Anything after that, I would always err on the side of caution to purify them just to make sure. So here we go then. We've already had the tap running before, just to make sure that everything's nice and clean. The good thing about these is you can just hold the handle on the top. Now what I like to do is to actually fill it to overflows and very carefully put it down, then put the lid on. What that does is that minimises any air trapped inside. So that's basically it. We make sure that these are topped up with minimal air in there, just in case we have a seriously bad drought this summer. There we have it. Yes, it's not that many, but the sort of concept and the sort of rule that I always do when I'm acquiring my preps and thinking ahead is not to stand out and make an attention. As you can probably tell there's 12 bottles, 12 5-litre bottles. We usually get through one of these a week just for drinking water. So 12 weeks it's taken me to collect those. 3 months, okay? Now, luckily, my foresight works that I've already got this done, okay? If you're considering doing this, I'm always from the club which doesn't want to draw attention. So please don't be that guy or girl to rush out to Tesco's, Asda, Morrison's, Lidl, or whatever it is. Please don't go out and buy 12 of these in one go. A tactic which you could use if there's two adults in the household, you could easily pay a visit every day for a few weeks. Okay, so one person will get 2 bottles, your partner will get another 2 bottles. Next day, you would do the same. Okay, it wouldn't take too many days to get a decent amount of these bottles. Now, it's entirely up to you whether you wanted to store them as brand new, not being used. These have all been emptied and they've all been refilled, as we saw earlier. It's just part of my reasoning about saving money and all that sort of thing. Okay, all the time we've got clean, safe drinking water from our borehole. I thought it's a good idea to absolutely think ahead. To me, it makes perfect sense in my situation, okay? Obviously, you guys do whatever you feel you need to do, because like I've always been saying, the core message is do your best not to rely on anyone else, okay? Something happens with your mains water, it gets cut off, there's a leak, and let's face it, there's 800 leaks every hour, yes, here in the UK. And it could be you. You could come home from work, turn the tap on, nothing. The first thing you're probably going to do is try to get hold of the water company. Well, it might be engaged. There might be a few others doing the same. What are you going to do? Your next thing will probably be, okay, let's go to the supermarket and get some water. You go there and there's none left. What are you going to do? Makes you think. And let me tell you this, just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean to say it won't. This sort of thing has happened to lots of people, believe it or not, all around the UK over the years. Okay, the age-old, remember back in the 70s and the 80s and all that sort of thing, water gets cut off if there's shortages or whatever the reason. You could literally pick one out of a hat. There are several reasons why you are not getting mains drinking water. Okay, usually it would be down to the council stroke water company to turn up at the end of your street with a great big lorry full up with water. Everyone will queue up and you'll get your water. Water rationing. Do you remember those times? Well, that was back in the 70s and the 80s. How many more people are living here in the UK? A lot more than what there was in the 70s. Let me tell you that. That's fact. Okay. Look how much money has been invested in mains water infrastructure over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Not that much. Look how many leaks are being reported. Look how many issues there are. Exactly. Furthermore, this is borehole water and it's absolutely fine to drink. Personally, I stopped drinking mains tap water way back in 2006. I've been drinking bottled and filtered water ever since. And so much so, it didn't take long, but every time I clean my teeth, when I tilt my head to get some water to rinse my mouth, I can smell the chemicals and the chlorine. You would not believe what is in your tap water. There is lots of speculation and talk about how bad it is, but let me tell you this from my own personal experience. A while ago, I decided to try distilling water, so pure water, and it was out of the tap. And when I looked inside my water distilling machine, the stuff that was left behind when it took out, it would blow your mind. It really, really would. Just think about the sewage system of how it gets recycled. What about all of the drugs, all of the antidepressants, all the rest of it? It goes through the water. And if you really think that all them filters are going to remove all of that, you are very much mistaken. Yes, it's contributing to so many health problems, more than you'll probably realise. So if you are going to use water out of the tap to do this, and it's absolutely fine, it's up to you whether you want to drink it or not. Personally, I would filter it. That is where I'm coming from. as I say, you can do entirely what you want to do. If you want to save further money and you're on a water meter, for example, find other places where you can get free water. Have a look around and you'll be surprised, okay? It will save you money. And guess what? If you have no access to water during these summer months, at least you're going to be okay, okay? Already there are rationing with bottled water in some supermarkets around the UK. I've been told by a few people now, so if you've experienced any of these shortages with bottled water, please let me know in the comment section. It would be awesome for you guys to read through the comments and see for yourself. It might surprise you, and furthermore, it may prompt you to do something very similar to what I'm doing here. You guys take care. Thanks for watching and stay funky.